What's going on, guys? My name is Jake, and this is your Body Comp Prescription. We're back at the desk today. I wanted to talk about something, and I didn't want to have to worry about the setting or any distractions, anything like that. So, needless to say, this is going to be more about the message than the scenery today. Two things before I get started. First off, I want to apologize to all my audio listeners out there for the lack of content. Ever since the transition between Jesus and I've been really focusing on YouTube content and making videos because that's primarily what I want to grow, and not all of that content can directly be like transferred over into audios because some of those things are visual and they've been more like vlog style. Yeah, that doesn't really make for good audio content, so I apologize for that. But this episode I'll dedicate to you guys, for all my audio listeners out there. Number two, I just want to throw this out there. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm sure by what I just said that you can kind of guess what we're talking about today. But I wanted to sit down and share some thoughts with you guys. This episode, if you couldn't tell by the title, is going to be about potential, purpose, and passion, the 3 Ps, right? So the other day I had a conversation about potential, right? And this was just like in general, but keep in mind, you can apply this to health and fitness as well. I personally really think that a person's maximum potential is predominantly determined by their confidence and what they envision for themselves, okay? And I'm talking about like genuine confidence, not like fake it till you make it confidence either. One thing that I think that really ruins people's potential is that they set unrealistic goals for themselves. And now, like when you talk about potential, you obviously need to have really high expectations for yourself. But I think a lot of people overestimate what they can do in the short term and underestimate what they can do in the long term. There are a lot of people that are trying to rush their progress, okay? Like they're trying to get certain things done by a certain age. So they're trying to pay off this, they're trying to pay off that, get done with school. And while all that stuff is fantastic and that's stuff that you want to work towards, I think that a lot of people get discouraged because they set those timelines and those deadlines on themselves when those aren't really realistic, and that really hurts confidence and that hurts a person's potential. And another thing that I think hurts people's potential is that they compare themselves to other people. And I know we've talked about this before, but I think what that does is it really fogs up what your image for yourself is, and it's not very clear what it is that you want to do, why you're doing it. You're just kind of going through the motions. One of my biggest faults as a human being, and I've told this to several people before as well, is that I tend to envision greater potential for other people than they envision for themselves. Now, that goes for my friends, my parents, and really like anyone that I like actually genuinely care about. And anyone who knows me probably already knows this. And they can tell you that really the only things that I actually like demand, and I know that's a really strong word, the only things that I demand out of a person are to be courteous, respectful, and to always push themselves to be better, like push for improvement basically. And the main reason that this is a problem is because I understand that it puts pressure on people. And I think it just feels like a responsibility of mine to make sure that the people that I care about are always trying their best and always trying to be their best. You know, iron sharpens iron. So that obviously means that it's a good thing for me as well. Now, this leads me into passion and purpose and kind of the relationship between the two. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really think passion is kind of an overused word, and I think it's very overrated, to be completely honest. I think it's a hyperbole kind of word. I think a lot of people overuse it when they're describing their feelings about something. I think the meaning behind it is kind of stale now, you know, because it gets overused so much. The main reason is because you can be passionate about a lot of things, but you can only have one purpose. You know, I'm passionate about basketball. I'm passionate about the gym. I'm passionate about, you know, good food, eating. I'm passionate about soft cookies. I'm passionate about so many things. But my purpose at this point in time is to help others improve, primarily through health and fitness, but in other aspects as well. If you ask me my purpose, the answer should be the same every single time. But if you ask me what I'm passionate about, it depends on the day. And that's why I think that passion is kind of an overused word. I'm going to give you an example because I've used this example for several of my friends and people who've asked me for advice on interviews, actually, interviews like for jobs and stuff like that. If you've ever gone in for an interview for a job, generally they'll ask you something like describe yourself and talk about what you're passionate about, right? And I think this is a terrible question for an interviewer also, but I digress. Everyone loves saying, I'm passionate about helping people. I'm a hard worker. I'm passionate about, insert job description here, whatever you're applying for. But I almost guarantee you that if you can honestly say that you arrived at that job interview and you had genuine interest in that position that you're applying for because you felt that it moves you along your path to your purpose, that interviewer or manager or whoever will not forget you. Almost everyone that has heard this advice from me has had success with their interviews in one form or another, because the person that interviewed you will know that you're serious about the job. It implies that you work hard, that you fit their culture, you bring energy to the table, and if that's not what they're looking for, then you move on, because clearly they don't want an individual who offers all of those amazing things. Even if you don't know what your purpose is yet, like I completely understand you. I hear you. I'm 23, right? Like I think my purpose is very, very clear right now, but it is like, that is something that can change over time, and that's something that you have to accept and be okay with. But if you really truly believe that everything that you do, and I'm not talking about jobs anymore, I'm talking about everything that you do is caused by your purpose, you'll have a very different approach to everything that you do every single day. Jesus and I have talked about your why on several occasions before, right? And this is what it really comes down to. It really ties in together, right? If you don't know why you do the things that you do, I want you to start thinking a little bit harder about that in particular. Like, why do you do what you do? It'll clear a lot of things up for you. It'll start making a lot more sense. And yes, it might be a little bit more tedious, but it will help you a lot. I almost guarantee that. Now, I want to clarify something up. Understanding why you do what you do is different than working really hard, right? I know a ton of hard workers out there, but if you're working really hard in the wrong place, how is that really going to help you get closer to that end goal, whatever that purpose is, whatever that why is, right? You can climb a ladder as fast as you want, but if it's not propped up in the right place, what good does that do you? Now, don't get it twisted. I think that working really hard is absolutely essential for everyone, and I think it's a really good trait to have. But understand your why, your purpose, and you'll learn a lot about yourself, which will greatly then impact your potential, and then that will build your confidence, and it'll allow you to operate with a lot more clarity on a day-to-day basis. I think I'm going to wrap it up here so I don't drag this on too long. I know my audience isn't the biggest yet, but I appreciate everyone who took the time out to listen to my rant, my TED Talk. This really helped clear my head. Like I mentioned earlier, this was inspired by a conversation that I had with someone the other day. I think it helped them, and hopefully it helped a few of you too. But I'm out of here. I'll catch you in the next one. I love you guys. Peace.